Hey teachers, have you got time for a cup of coffee? Perhaps just enough time for an espresso shot. I'm Jacqueline Millay, the host of the Chalk.n.coffee podcast, and this is our research-based video series, Espresso Shots. Here we provide English as an additional language teaching help in 5 minutes or less. Ever wondered if the peer feedback we ask our students to provide to each other actually helps improve their writing? Well, you're not alone. I had a recent conversation around the coffee machine in the staff room, and apparently it's a question that many of us have. Peer feedback is often hailed as a powerful tool in additional language learning. But does it really actually make a difference? Today we're diving into this topic, looking at some research and exploring how to make peer feedback more effective in the ESL classroom. So grab your coffee and your viewing note sheet. You can find that in the downloads below, and let's get started. Let's kick things off with a meta-analysis by Shaofeng Li and Alyssa Vuogan from 2022 TESOL Graphics. This meta-analysis reviewed several studies on peer feedback in second language writing and found that yes, peer feedback can significantly improve writing skills. But here's the twist. It's most effective when it's structured and guided. Let's break that down. Li and Vuogan found that peer feedback helps with things like grammar, vocabulary, and structure. But, and this is important, it doesn't always work if students lack the right skills or confidence. Sometimes unstructured feedback can actually be more harmful than helpful. And it's why it's essential to guide our students through the feedback process. Clear expectations and support are key. In their study, the researchers emphasize that peer feedback is most useful when students have clear guidelines. For example, instead of simply telling a peer, "This part's wrong," students should be guided to explain why it's wrong and how it can be improved in a positive way. We have a short training slide deck that might be helpful for you as you guide your students, or maybe serve just as inspiration in the links below. By providing structured feedback, students don't just correct each other's mistakes. They start thinking more critically about their own writing. So, what does this mean for your classroom? Make feedback purposeful and structured. Create rubrics or focus areas. Maybe you want to focus on specific grammar or clarity or organization. This helps students give meaningful and actionable feedback. And remember, feedback is a two-way street. Encourage your students to ask follow-up questions and reflect on how they can improve. Or avoid an overzealous peer editor or an uninvolved one by having the original author soliciting specific corrections or advice, giving the author control of the feedback. Once the teacher has established writing priorities, writers decide what advice they want from their peers. Key here is teacher modeling and whole group practice. We've provided a short sample activity with instructions in the links below. One important thing to note, peer feedback isn't a substitute for your feedback. In fact, research shows that when peer feedback is paired with teacher input, the learning environment is even more effective. The best results come from combining both types of feedback. Why? Because you bring expertise that students don't have yet, reinforcing that feedback loop. But wait, there's more. Research by Tsu and Ng revealed that peer feedback also helps enhance critical thinking. When students give feedback, they reflect not just on their peers' writing, but also on their own. And this builds awareness of writing patterns and structures, making them better writers overall. And here's a bonus. Reinholdt's 2018 study showed that peer feedback boosts student motivation. When students give feedback, they take more ownership of their own writing. Plus, positive, helpful feedback from peers makes them feel encouraged and more confident in their abilities. One additional element to consider carefully is the actual pairing of students. This can be done a couple of different ways. You might want to pair weak with mid-strong students and mid-strong with strong. This seems to be most effective, and the research that supports this is a whole other video, but some links to the research supporting this are in the bibliography provided in the viewing worksheet. You might want to also add a little movement to your period and have students participate in a gallery walk for feedback. Student texts with requested feedback are placed randomly on desks, and students move around the room responding to one of the requested feedback queries from their peers. So what's the bottom line? Peer feedback can be an incredibly powerful tool for improving ESL writing, but it all comes down to how you structure it. With clear guidelines, a focus on reflection, and a balance between peer and teacher feedback, your students will thrive. By guiding your students through this kind of meaningful feedback, you're helping them improve not just their writing skills, but also their critical thinking. It's a win-win. So, if you're ready to make peer feedback a key part of your ESL classroom, start by setting clear expectations and guiding your students through the whole process. Let them practice. Remember, it's all about balance. Peer feedback plus teacher feedback equals the best results. Thanks for tuning in. I hope this helps you on your teaching journey. See you in the next video. In the meantime, teach with all your heart and a little coffee.